Today, we're talking about the 3 biggest issues in construction, the impact they're going to have on your career, as well as how you can prepare to address them. Look, it's no secret that the construction industry is struggling to attract and retain talent at all levels, whether it's field or office roles. Much of this is due to the way that the industry has operated over the last few decades, old school construction. We've seen a lot of work on attraction into the industry, getting younger people excited about a career in construction, mostly skilled trades, which is great. But for those that start their career in the industry, are they really going to stay? And can we make the changes the industry needs to evolve to the standards of future generations? The good news is that where there are challenges, there are opportunities. And when you learn how to address these major issues, not only will it help you to get ahead in your career, but it will also make the industry a better place. From addressing the gaps on site to bridging generational divides and prioritizing mental wellness, this video will provide insights to solving the 3 biggest challenges in construction today. By the way, I'm Angelo, and I've worked full-time in construction for almost 20 years for all types of companies. I've seen it all from working in the field to executive management and everything in between. Okay, let's dive in. The first issue we're going to look at is the growing gap between design and construction. Wouldn't you think that as technology is integrated with the archaic way that the industry operates, that this would become less of a problem? Intuitively, yes, but in my experience, I have found the opposite to be true. Here's why. One of the biggest challenges is the disconnect between the design phase and the actual construction process, the classic divide between the site and the office. Often designs are created by engineers and architects without fully considering practicalities and constraints of on-site construction and logistics. The same can be said for the schedules and budgets that are assembled during the feasibility and pursuits phase. Often best-case scenarios with little or no regard for the actual work and issues on site. This has been further exacerbated by the lack of experience amongst the team managing the project. What I have seen is that there's a trend to have formally educated people, architects and engineers, manage the actual construction of a project. This makes sense from a logical standpoint because they are often very intelligent, but only as it pertains to book smarts and learned knowledge. The missing key here is experience, which can only be learned over time through asking questions, learning from others' mistakes, and making some of your own. Often the biggest barrier to this divide is ego on both sides of the coin. That's what gets in the way of productive relationships between the two. Consider the following examples. If you work in the field, how many times have you razzed an engineer for missing installation details? If you work in the office, how many times have you looked down on a trade worker? Of course there are exceptions, but these are the typical attitudes and behaviors I've noticed over 20 years in the industry. And all they do is lead to delays, cost overruns, and frustration for everyone involved. So, how can we fix it? The key to bridging this gap lies in fostering better communication and collaboration between designers and construction teams, as well as site and office staff. Break down the stigmas and the stereotypes of dumb construction workers and snooty consultants. Acknowledge that each party has a role to play in the design and construction of the project and work together to get it done. I know it sounds simple, but it's not easy. We're working against a culture that is ingrained in both sides, but it's not doing us any favors. So get over yourself, stick with what you're good at, and admit what you could use some help with. Let's work together to make it happen. This point is super important, but it's not complete without number 2 on our list, the generational divide, and its impact on knowledge transfer. Did you know that the median age for a construction worker in North America is 42 years old? With 30% of the workforce over the age of 50? The US and Canadian construction industries employ about 12 million people combined, meaning that almost 4 million people will be retiring over the next 10 years. 4 million. And we're not recruiting or retaining people at a high enough rate to fill those gaps, but that's a topic for another video. The construction industry has currently experienced a significant generational divide, with seasoned veterans working alongside younger newcomers. Our workforce currently spans over several generations, from baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, with Gen Alpha not far behind. All of these demographics are fundamentally different in the way we communicate, work, and live, which often leads to misunderstandings and conflicts. But it also presents an opportunity for improvement. I've had countless discussions with people on both sides of the coin, from boomers or Gen Xers saying that kids these days are soft, entitled babies who just want to be on TikTok all day and don't want to work hard. And then there's Gen Zs complaining about their old school foreman who treats them like garbage and gatekeeps knowledge to stay relevant. And then there's us millennials stuck in the middle trying to figure out how to keep the peace and keep projects moving, because we are inheriting the reins to this industry pretty damn soon. Is either side completely wrong? No, But we do need to find a way to break down barriers and facilitate knowledge transfer from more experienced pros to newbies as fast as possible because the clock is ticking. How can we do this, you might be asking yourself? The key factor is mentorship. Not necessarily a formal, structured program, which may or may not work, but just providing a culture and environment where experienced workers can share their invaluable knowledge and skills while younger employees can introduce new technologies and innovative approaches. Both sides have to concede a bit and meet in the middle. The younger folks need to respect and appreciate the craft honed over decades of experience, and the old guard needs to be patient and open to questions and new ways of doing things. This also takes time, which is very limited on any construction project, but again, that's a topic for another video. And of course, none of this will work unless we consider our last point, prioritizing mental wellness. Construction workers see an increased risk in stress and physical injury, unhealthy coping mechanisms, and even suicide when compared to other industries. It's no surprise that construction work is tough, both physically and mentally. The physical component of health and safety has come leaps and bounds, to the point that some might say the industry is too safe. However, you can't deny the fact the incredible progress has been made in the reduction of physical injury and death over the last few decades, and as a result, it's never been safer to work in the industry. Mental wellness, on the other hand, is often completely overlooked, but it's just as critical of a component to a healthy and productive workforce. High stress levels, long hours, and physically demanding work can take a toll on mental health, which in turn impacts many other factors like reduced job satisfaction leading to turnover, increased safety risks leading to more injuries, and decreased productivity leading to lost profits. One of the biggest issues in addressing mental wellness is the stigma around mental illness and its contradiction to the suck it up and be a man attitude of the construction industry. However, given the evolution of the rest of the world and the needs and wants of younger workers, it is essential to prioritize mental wellness by providing resources and supporting workers. But how can this be accomplished? It starts with a culture that normalizes mental illness, no different than that of physical illness or injury like a flu virus or broken arm. After all, it's not really that different. This can include offering mental health training, creating a supportive work environment, and ensuring that employees have access to counseling services. By taking care of our mental health and those around us, we can improve job satisfaction, reduce turnover, and create a safer, more welcoming place for everyone. Yes, the construction industry needs a lot of work to be brought up to modern standards, but things are evolving, and you can be a big part of this change by focusing on the points discussed in this video. By closing the gap between design and construction, we can build more efficiently from both a cost and time standpoint, reducing stress and burnout and increasing team morale. By bridging the generational and demographic divides, we can make construction a more welcoming place for different types of people to learn, grow, and keep the industry moving forward. By prioritizing mental wellness, we can make sure everyone is at their best to improve job satisfaction, productivity, and safety on site. One thing is for sure, the world relies on the construction industry to drive progress for humankind. If we stop, the world stops. So, we need to find a way to keep this thing going. If you're still with me, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below of what you thought and what you'd like to see in future videos, and don't forget to subscribe for more useful construction content and discussions. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.